we're going to segue into knowledge. And, I just said that I'm not a terminology snob. I allow my students to describe what they're feeling in their own bodies because I'm not in their body. And there's a lot of people in our industry or our community who I feel weaponize knowledge in pedagogy. And at the moment, I feel like when you read some of the forums on Facebook, there seems to be a little bit of a divide happening. I don't know if I'm maybe just being a little sensitive to it. Do you feel that we're doing well as a community, or do you feel that there is a bit of a divide happening? I mean, I know that there can be in terms of classical and CCM at times, but what about in terms of science, in terms of student-centered learning? How do you feel about all of that?
Since I'm doing translational work between science and non-science, I always tell people, not everybody believes me when I say this, but they should. I'm not a scientist. I'm not trained as a scientist. I don't do science methodology studies that are legitimate to be published as that. I will rush to add that's not a statement of humility. It's just acknowledging the lane that I'm in and promoting the kind of knowing that I can have confidence in, and acknowledging the kind of knowing that I really haven't been trained in. Now, I have colleagues who are voice teachers that have also done enough work to call themselves scientists as well as voice teachers.
Yes.
And that's perfectly fine because they're also doing translational work as long as they stay voice teachers. They're not doing science in the voice lesson. They're doing voice teaching, okay? And they have to translate one kind of knowledge into another there. But I'm promoting what I call practitioner gleaned knowledge, experience gleaned knowledge. There's overlap between scientific methodology and what we do in the studio. And here's the overlap. We show up with a hypothesis. That is, we show up with concepts that we think might work. We try them and we observe the results. Now, we don't do it with the rigorous controls necessary in a real science experiment, but we're still using similar tools.
Yes, I get that.
Right, and we have several advantages and some disadvantages. That's all good as far as I'm concerned. The advantages is we tend to have a large N number. The N number is how many subjects did you try this protocol on? Well, we tend to have a studio full of students, and we have very good longitudinality of our studies because we work with these students sometimes for years. So we're doing aspects of scientific thinking without the rigid control. Another key piece is that we don't have an untreated control group. That would be unethical. We teach everybody that comes in the studio, we do the best we can, and we don't make ourselves use exactly the same protocol with every student. We adapt it student to student. So all of that prevents us from doing quantitative science studies. We could do qualitative studies probably if we wanted to go there. But at any rate, the point is that experience develops a kind of knowledge that can only be gotten that way. You can't go to the laboratory and learn what you need to know to teach a good voice lesson. You can only learn that in the laboratory of a voice lesson.
Yes.
A lot of voice lessons. So my favorite quote of Ian McGilchrist, who is a British psychiatrist, was this: you develop intuition for how to respond to a situation. And he said, intuition, here's the quote, intuition is not random nor irrational. It is the precious distillate of experience.
Oh, I love that. Preach. I call myself an intuitive teacher, and I will say to people, I don't know why I know, but I just no. And I had a gut feeling and I went there and it was right.
And you didn't pull it out of the air. You've seen a lot of singing. You've done a lot of singing.
That's
And
so
all of that
true.
experience is in the background. It's not at the front of your brain.
Mm,
It's at the intuitive level now.
mm-hmm.
Kitty Verdolini, who's a wonderful speech language
Yes, I know
pathologist,
Kitty. Yes.
she's done a lot of studies, and as she says, she's gotten millions of dollars worth of grant money to study evidence-based practice, right? Science-based practice in a
Yes.
sense. So she would ask people that she knew as speech language pathologists that are very capable, how do you choose which evidence-based therapy to apply? And she asked this one woman that she said was really good, very good at her work, very successful at rehabilitation. And the woman thought for a moment and she said, well, I see them and I know. That's intuition. She's not pulling
Mm,
it out of thin air. She's not pulling it out of a hat. It's years of experience of doing this has formed her intuition to be able to read a situation and come up with a likely solution. And if that one
yes.
doesn't work, she's got another one that she can try.
Yes. Yes. The
Uh, and
toolbox.
and that practitioner gleaned knowledge is every bit as valid, if not more valid, than the knowledge that comes out of science studies, which I love, by the way. I love science-informed pedagogy, and I love the work the scientists are doing.
Mm-hmm.
But this other piece is just as valid in building the body of knowledge that we use to become better teachers and to teach others how
Yes.
to teach well.
Yes.
That's like what I think medical practice used to be more like, it was sort of an intuition. You
And
look at,
apprenticing, a lot of apprenticing.
Yes.
right. And that's
Yes.
also that kind of knowledge comes with age. It's more
Mm,
of a later in life kind of thing.
mm-hmm. I feel highly validated right now. I thank you for what you just said because I know there are people who look at me, a student will walk in and I will just sense something and away I go. And they'll just say to me, how did you know that that was how I was feeling? How did you know that this was happening? And I just say, intuition.
It's unknown knowns. I don't know if you've
Mm,
heard that little triumvirate. They're the known knowns, the things we know that we know. There are the known unknowns, the things we know we don't know yet.
mm,
There are the unknown, no, what is it? The unknown unknowns, things we don't know and we don't realize we don't know it. Those are dangerous.
mm.
And we don't know it and we don't realize we don't know it. That's a problem. But then
Yes.
I add to that, there are also the unknown knowns, things we know that we don't even know we know. That's
Yes.
intuition.
Yes.
That is
Exactly.
intuition. We don't even
Exactly.
know. We don't know that we know. We don't know how we know it, but we know it.
Yes.
When the situation arises, it occurs to us.
Mm,
And
mm-hmm.
then sometimes something occurs to you to do, and you go, that's weird. I've never said that
I've
before.
never said that before.
Yes.
And then you say, but let's try it.
Let's try
And
it.
then sometimes other
Yes.
things, don't tell
Yeah,
anybody
don't
that
tell
I told
anybody
you.
I just said this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But try
I
it.
actually say that don't tell anyone that I said that because I'll be fired.
Yeah.
We've had this,
Yep.
experience, but we actually didn't get back to her question
Right,
about
which is
what's going on and, is there a division? I'm not a terminology snob myself. I tend to like to use the word chest voice and head voice, but I will use those other terms or, but like, I don't mind the word support. And I know that's kind of like, oh, I don't, but when I talk, I'll do it in air quotes because I know some people don't like that word, but
Oh, yes.
so at any rate, I think well,
Mm-hmm.
I like the word head voice and chest voice because it feels like something.
those are
Yes.
It's a
procedural terms.
procedure. Those are
Yes.
things that we often feel. Not everybody feels them the
Mm-hmm.
same way.
Mm-hmm.
But in a certain part of your range, the sensory feedback things tend to be up here somewhere, right?
Yes.
And chest can feel buzzy down here, and so I think it puts you on the right direction.
Exactly.
As you say, we can't say I want that mode 1 ear. You
No,
know, it's
it doesn't work.
it's a little
No.
awkward.
You can say, could that be a little headier or a little chestier? That has meaning. Can that be a little 2 ear or a little 1 ear? That has no meaning.
I
Well, yeah,
know, I know.
yeah.
And the institution where I teach at, there is a vocal pedagogy program, and we have a wonderful human who's very knowledgeable, who teaches in that program and insists that we all use the M0, M1, M2, M3 in terms of describing registration, because it is something that, you know, you can actually see and you know that it's happening and this is what's happening in those modes. And no one in this institution uses anything other than that. And I think, well, I actually use whatever the student talk, whatever language they speak in
Right.
is what I use. If that's what they relate to, and they're the ones that are making those sounds, and that's how they describe them, and that's how they feel them, who am I to impose?
A funny story about this, about how a student perceives things. I had a lovely soprano who, for some reason, when she would get down in her sort of lower mixed zone, lower passage, or whatever you want to call it, and she would just like get a little really in her nose, you know. It wasn't just like twangy. It was just
Yeah, it
coming
was
out of her nose, you know.
nasality.
Yeah, it was actually coming out the nose too much. So I was, I was trying to think, okay, I gotta figure out how to lift her soft palate. I know mechanically what's going on. So we did all the things. I showed her the diagrams, and we looked in our throats and practiced all holding your nose, all the things, almost gonna sneeze, all that. And just didn't quite click. And then all of a sudden she said, "Oh, you want me to close my nose gate?" And I said, yes.
I didn't know the nose had a gate, but whatever you
does.
think is
I
going on,
want you to
you knock
close-
yourself out.
There is a little, that's what the VLMS is shutting off.
Nose gate.
The nose
That gate. Okay, that gate.
And I
Okay.
said, yes, that's what you need to do here when I say that thing. And I just loved it. It's a wonderful description, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And these days too, with social media, there is a minefield of information out there. There are coaches claiming to be the #1 coach in the world
They charge
This-
$1,000 an hour.
that charge $1,000 an hour
For a
and
private lesson. Yeah.
for a private lesson. And if you watch their teaching, it is really scary. And then you have these young teachers who are coming through, young singers who are coming through. And obviously, the people that make all these claims have millions of followers because they have the budget and have the marketing that they can then put themselves forward. And some of the greatest teachers don't put themselves forward in that manner. So what would you say to that person, that young pedagogue that's coming through, or that young singer that's coming through, in terms of how should they move forward in the most productive manner for their careers?
Watch a lot of different teachers if you can. I think observing other teachers is very, very informative. Live, if possible. And it's not always possible, but even if you're in an academic situation, and watch your colleagues teach, and you might not agree with everything, but you're picking things up.
Yes.
That's one thing I would throw in.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of good continuing education as well. I think
Oh,
there are wonderful
so much.
programs that didn't
Yeah.
exist when we were coming up at all. The online thing can be very, very helpful.
Yes. And it's true, because I know the vocal pedagogy program at Queensland Conservatorium where I teach, that is that the numbers have come down over the past few years. And I was having a conversation with one of the lecturers, and I said, yes, but look at all the competition that's out there now. How many master's programs are there that are available online that are fully accredited these days? We didn't have that 10 years ago. Since COVID, people can do anything online. And vocal pedagogy is one of them. And there are some brilliant programs. So if you want to compete, you've got to find a way to compete with those programs and make them fully accessible to everybody and have replays in place. We're going to start winding down. You've just been incredibly generous with your time and your knowledge and your wisdom. In the noise of everything that's going on in the world, as a singing voice community, how can we do better or be kinder to one another? Do you feel? Can we do better?
Always.
I've got a couple of quotes because I thought about this ahead of time. They're sort of fun quotes. One of them is, there are no grown-ups. Everyone is winging it. Some just do it more confidently. And the second one is, we're all stumbling through. Let's be as kind as we can about it. Okay. So you need a certain life humility, and never assume you're the smartest person in the room. It's rarely true, and it's useless even when it is true. So I'll say this: everyone on the planet, other than you, every single one of them knows some things you don't know. If you really stop and think about it, maybe it's just some private thing about their personal history, but they know some things you don't know. So we should always be open to learning from other people and hearing from other people. And the key piece of that is, in my life, I have learned some very important transformative things from people with whom I previously thought I disagreed. And you can learn really important things from people you think you disagree with.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you'll always learn from them. It doesn't mean you'll always agree with them or even agree. But sometimes it's surprising that you will learn some things. Unfortunately, given human nature, I've had to relearn that lesson over and over again.
Yes.
Because, if you've formed your ideas and you think they're pretty good and you hear somebody saying something else, the human tendency is to, well, that's not right. I know what. So basically just staying open and realizing that there might be intelligent life forms on the other side of a conversation that you could learn from, and keep reminding yourself of that as much as you need to, as often as you need to be reminded. So that's one thing. And then of course we're there, the teacher is there to serve, not to lord it over. And they're there to serve the student. And then if they do that well, good things happen for the teacher, for the teacher's reputation. You don't have to try to lord your reputation over people. Just do the best job you can for them, and the rest takes care of itself. And yes, being kind is just what we're supposed to be.
Yes.
I think on these forums, just be kind. And sometimes we get maybe a little worked up about something, and it's just the same thing when you're exercised about something and you want to shoot off that email. It's like, don't.
Wait. Don't be reactive. Yes.
Wait.
Think. I sleep on it.
Yeah,
I may compose the email, go to sleep, and then decide in the morning whether it should be sent in its current context or not.
Exactly. Right. Wait. And if you do decide to send it, make sure you check that drafts folder, because sometimes they stay there. It's that, I think, just, and Kenny alluded to it, it's like, we really don't know what other people have been through, right? We don't know what they're bringing to a particular situation in their lives. It's like the checkout person who's rude to you. We don't know what has happened in her life earlier that day, and just be kind and patient. And we all are standing on other people's shoulders, and I think we need to respect the shoulders that they are standing on, and I hope that they would feel the same way about where we come from in our training and our emphases and all that. So I won't get into that. So I think
there's a couple of things I'd like to add to that, because there are certain people that pipe up on the forums and very dogmatic in their approach. And I actually feel like an imposter on those forums. So I don't add any comments, because for fear of something like that yap dog grabbing my ankle and not letting go, and then having to spend the next 5 days responding to essays. So I don't get on there and I don't get involved. But also, you know, it's one thing to say all these things, but I often think I'd like to hear what your students are doing. You'd have all this knowledge, but how successful are your students? How many of them have gone on to have careers or pursued the things that they want to pursue? How many of them are doing well? And I think that at the end of the day speaks over and above all the noise and all the words and all the essays that are written. And, you know, personally, I'm really proud of the work that I do. I don't pipe up, but gee, my kids are doing really well. Most of them are gigging, they're doing the things that they want to do. And I may not have all those words and I may not be able to write those essays. And I'm fine with that. And in you saying we don't know what's gone on in someone's life, Joanne, we also don't know that with our students. We don't always know when they come into the voice studio what kind of week they've had, what their background is.
Right.
That some of them, a young girl will come in and then you find out after teaching them for months, they lost their mother when they were a baby and they've had to navigate life. There's so many things that go on with people. When you're dealing with a human, it's not just the voice, it's all parts of them make up the instrument. Yeah. So in finishing up, if your lives were a song, what would the title of your song be?
We approach this completely differently.
Right. Well, we didn't know if the "you're" was the couple "you're" or the individual "you're."
Oh, whatever, however you wish to answer is fine by me.
We have an "our" song.
What's that?
It's James Taylor's "You Are the Only One."
Oh,
You are my only one. You are my only one. I love James Taylor.
I like James, and so that's our song.
that is beautiful.
Right.
Okay, so these are the final couple of questions. I know some of the work that you've done has been groundbreaking. You are pioneers in some of your areas. Have you ever cared about what people think about you when you've presented new work that you thought maybe this may cause a few feathers to ruffle? Have you ever cared about what the backlash of that would be?
Not exactly like that. When I first made the observation about why transitions aren't on the same pitch for all vowels, I thought this is really important and helpful information. It was very helpful to me right away. Why haven't I read this somewhere?
Yes.
And so I approached a few science casually, not seriously, because I was a young kid, just sort of still, well, I say I was a young kid, I was like 40. Well, when I was
That's
30,
a young kid.
I was 38 when I made that observation. Within the next 10 years, I approached a few prominent people whose names you would know, and I won't mention them because I love them and honor them, but they, weren't interested, or they were sort of politely, very civilly dismissive.
Yes.
And I thought, well, I'm disappointed. They don't know me. They don't know what quality of mind I have, if I know what I'm talking about, or if I'm just another crazy voice teacher making up goofy stuff. And of course that was possible, that I was just another crazy voice teacher making up goofy stuff. So I wasn't angry, I was disappointed, but it also made me realize the voice science community maybe doesn't, they need what we've been talking about just as much as the voice teacher community. It's just as surely as I believe voice teachers need to be open to learning from the voice science community. The voice science community needs to be open to the possibility that we know some stuff.
Yes.
And some of them are. But my experience was they weren't responsive, number one. Number two, then I would go to these interdisciplinary conferences and I would go attend prominent voice science presentations that I thought might be relevant to my teaching, but the voice scientists would never show up to my presentations. And by this time, I didn't put pen to paper to be published on the things that I was observing and thinking about until 2007. I was 56. I was not some young kid spouting off some new ideas, which is fine also, but I didn't do that. And I didn't write my first book I wrote several articles after that first article until 2013.
Wow.
Now I was 62 before I wrote a book.
Wow.
I'm 74 now. I wrote my
Wow.
second book in 2017, so I was 66. So these were not, born out of enthusiasm. They were born out of a lifetime of trying to figure stuff out and write about it. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
how did I get off on that? Do I care what people think? I did want the scientists to realize that I was onto some really important, useful information.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who realized it were the voice teachers that need that information on a day-to-day basis,
Mm-hmm.
lesson after lesson, that took time to, oh, maybe there's something to this. And so I got lovely feedback from that. So to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably true that I care to some extent what
Yes.
people think, because
Yes.
I think reputation is an important thing.
Yes.
Not so much because I'm not the king of pedagogy. You're still fun metaphor. I've got so many wonderful colleagues that are doing great work in pedagogy, but I have made, I feel, an important contribution, and it's gratifying that people, at least a good percentage of pedagogy people, seem to notice that and like that, and they're not very kind to me about that. I'm not sure that the voice science community has done that yet, which is curious to me.
Really?
Yeah, they don't disagree with me, they don't argue with me, they don't diss with me, they just don't show up. They don't. Then none of them ever seeks me out to talk about any of this.
Wow. I'm
Uh,
surprised at that. So you feel that they just tolerate you?
oh, I don't. I think that he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. It may be not relevant to what I'm doing, so why should I bother? And I get it because for the most part, they're not teaching voice lessons. So it isn't as immediately relevant to them.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
now some of them, quite a few of them have come around
Mm-hmm.
to realize that what I'm saying is actually accurate. Whatever level I understand it on, I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand it the same way a scientist
Mm-hmm.
understands it. You know, but so do I care what other people think about me? Yes, because I think I'm supposed to try to present a good reputation to my
Yes.
community. Okay.
Yes.
Is that what motivates me? No.
No.
I care what someone else thinks about me. I want at the end of the day to get a well done, thou good and faithful servant.
Mm-hmm.
It's not you great and wonderful, brilliant, whatever.
Yes.
So that's what I hope is my motivation. That's what I want to be my motivation. I'm human like everybody else. It's easy to be flattered and appreciate that, but so that's my take on it. Yeah, I kind of care what people think, but if they don't, it's
Mm.
okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm. And Joanne?
I think because I present on a couple of topics that are kind of medically, they just border, they're in
Mm-hmm.
the borderlines. My lane crosses over into what could be called a medical lane.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always feel like there's somebody medical on my shoulder, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
just talking to singers.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk about these things, I want to make sure what research is there supports what I'm talking about. And so that medical people will say, yep, that's accurate and helpful. But on the other hand, that we can speak anecdotally because we really don't have that much research about singing voice and
Yes.
these
Yes.
conditions that we're talking
Yes.
about.
Yes.
So in that way, I care about what a certain population is hearing when I'm talking.
Mm.
And if they challenge me, that's fine. But I want to get that stuff straight. So in that way, I care about what that population
Mm-hmm.
hears, and I want them to say, okay, she's done her reading, she knows her research, what there is of it.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not contradicting
Yes.
what is in the literature. So
Yes.
that's one way of looking at it
Yes.
for me.
And these people, do they turn up for you? Do you feel that you're being heard by that
Oh,
community, unlike Ken, where he's saying these people don't show up for him?
well, it's very kind of siloed. Our worlds are very siloed. I have some speech language pathologists that I'm very friendly with, and they recommend my book very enthusiastically to their clients that are going through that. I don't know very many doctors that do.
Yes.
Laryngologists. I don't run in those circles so much, but I do, I have connections that I can make with a particular laryngologist if I need to ask something, So, but we don't really play together that much. So we're very siloed.
Yes.
Perhaps that's it, that voice science, and there's voice teachers, and then there's, voice medical practitioners like
Yes.
SLPs and so
Yes.
on.
So final question. What would you say to a singer or anyone in life who's trying to discover their voice?
Go for it.
Yeah, let's see what's there.
Go for
Let's
it.
play. Let's play.
As I said in my talk that you quoted, Voice, the Muscle of the Soul, finding yourself through finding your voice. Finding and freeing your voice is a process of self-realization, actualization, even of self-formation. What it is you have to say and how you can best say it is part of becoming who you are.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time, the king and queen of pedagogy.
Can I do my...
Right.
I know it's like stirring the tea.
Oh, stirring the tea, right?
Stirring the
There we go.
tea. Yeah, that's it. We are both waving like queens.
What does the king do?
We're trying to not have a king over here in the States at the moment, so it's a small analogy that I appreciate.
Hey, let's not even go there. The
Right.
news is terrifying. But I
Yes.
want to thank you both. You've been so generous with your time. We've gone well over time. So I'm kind
We'll
of
have to
sitting
edit
here.
away, right?
Well,
away.
or we may even split this up into 2 episodes because there was so much amazing information and wisdom and knowledge that you both shared. I'm going to put the links to where people can find you both in the show notes, to your books, to your work. And I'm going to be seeing you in Toronto.
Lovely,
Yay, wonderful.
lovely.
Well, thank you so much. You are very, very
Yes.
easy to talk
Yes.
to. A lot of fun. So
Thank you.
the
But we're going to
invitation.
have even more fun in Toronto.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And we're going to have an Aperol Spritz.
There we go.
Oh, at least one.
At
Yeah.
least.
No, thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.